Hello, everybody. This is Buddy in Midland, Texas. I got a story today that I want to share with you. I'm going to name this video Landman Keith Turman. And it's working off some older videos that I recently was thinking about. And that I think is still important to this day. And then, so when I compile this evidence and I finish, then I'll go ahead and send this over to Sheriff Criner and his investigative team, because he told me, the sheriff told me that that his investigative team was working on this, and then also to the Texas Rangers. And so I have a little write up here, and that's to get my dates right and my thoughts. And even then, some of it's paraphrased, but once I get done with just telling about it, talking about it here, then I'm going to show you some evidence, and we're going to listen to a part of a phone call. And so this will kind of explain to you what this means. In September 2017, I posted a video called Killing One Homeowner After Another, which talked about the suspected murder of Mike Lawhon, the previous owner of my home. He died the week before the 2008 oil show started, with his death certificate saying that he died in Fort Worth. But a neighbor that lived across the street, Marilyn Dlugi, had told me twice that he died in my home. I'd also found from a Google search that the Odessa American, that's the paper over there, posted a death notice for Mike on October 14, 2008, saying he died in Fort Worth. And then 4 days later, they posted a second death notice and changed the location of death to say he died at his residence. Obviously, somebody had the location of death changed because they knew Mike had died in this home, as Marilyn said, and there were witnesses such as Marilyn. Interestingly, the Odessa American deleted that first death notice where it said he died in Fort Worth just in the last 2 months from the internet. But I have screenshotted it and made several videos showing that it was there. In fact, I'd recently sent these to Sheriff Criner and the Texas Rangers. Okay? So it's absolute 100%. Somebody should be asking the Odessa American why they made two death notices in two different locations, and then why they recently deleted it. I believe something's going on, investigation-wise. Anyway, somebody complained about this fact-filled video, and Facebook booted me for a week. I got kicked off Facebook. Right after that happened, on September 14, 2017, I got an email from a Keith Turman Landman at gmx.com. He said, in part, "I want you to know that we are here to stop your every move in trying to prove your story. And the first time you and I crossed paths was at Wallace's Frost Top in the early 80s. Now that's a local barbecue restaurant in Hobbs, New Mexico. The only way you'd know about it is if you were there, And then he also finishes it up, "Have a wonderful week without Facebook." And I have screenshots of these emails. I'm going to show you here in a minute where they're at and where the evidence is at, backing that up. Okay, so the next day, I replied back to Keith's email, and I blind carbon copied then Mayor Jerry Morales, then Chief of Police Bryce Robinson, the Department of Justice, and the U.S. Inspector General Horowitz. U.S. Congressman Mike Conaway had given me the email address for the IG, the Inspector General. Blind carbon copy, or BCC, means that Keith doesn't know the others were copied on the email. I was hoping they would trace it, and as it's clear that this guy is connected with the many crimes here, which are believed now to be multiple murders, Keith replies back to me and said in part, "I'm 34 years old. How would I have been stalking you in the early 80s? I've never been to Hobbs." Of course, that didn't make any sense, right? And I've wondered if somebody else had hacked his email account, as in it was, two different people, because I have the first email from a day before, 2 days before, and that's what it says. And here's this guy replying going, "I don't know what you're talking about," and it was his email. So that's where I'm saying I think somebody was hacking his email. On September 16, 2017, I replied back again, and this time I blind carbon copied in the Mayor Morales, Chief Robinson, Inspector General, the Department of Justice, and Major Creighton McGee, who was over the Texas Rangers for this area. Okay, September 16, 2017. I stated more facts, and they reminded Keith that I had already told him not to contact me again, and this was cyber stalking. And you'll notice that I always tell people, do not contact me again. And then when they contact me again, then all of a sudden, I've already told them that. So I've already have proof of their stalking, and I've been stalked more than, hardly anybody can even imagine, with absolute proof of that stalking. Okay, this was the last email from this address from Keith. Okay, but I was also getting emails this same week from 4 other email accounts. They were from a Mark P. Jones, a Dan Connor, Teddy Gaines, and George Washington. They were wanting to meet me and pay me what they felt like I was owed and pay for my silence. Okay, but then I posted their emails on the internet. I sent their emails to a friend, and he posted it on my timeline. And of course they were these are people that only work in secret, and that pisses them off. And that's when they changed their tone. But originally, what they wanted to do, they wanted me to meet them at the motel there, the DoubleTree down there in Midland, and they were going to pay me what they felt like I was owed for being crippled for life and terrorized every single day, for 10 years or whatever. Okay. Interestingly, in one email from Mark P. Jones at cheerful.com, that's the email address, this guy tells me that he was a Kansas City Chiefs fan, which seemed important since I found the Kansas City Chiefs cap under the cabinet from where I had been shot. I knew it had been left after I had been shot because obviously, that's where the trapdoor entrance was, where the ex-wife had told me it's where it's believed that Matt Hyman and his friends come in 2 weeks earlier. It's also believed it's how that MPD officers, Lieutenant Dickey, Davis, Chadwell, Angel, and Hale, that they also come in that. Because remember, they're in or at my house, and they wasn't seen arriving on camera. That's how I knew they come in that now removed trap door. Okay. So anyways, that cap's real important. Okay. He also says that he learned to fake x-rays while overseas during wartime in the 70s. Once again, that's extremely important because, I have absolute undeniable proof that my x-rays were faked at the hospital. Okay. And so, of course, much of what they were saying, these 4 or 5 different accounts, was clearly made up. And I suspect it was trying to cover up for the things that were said that were real, such as Wallace's frost top. That wasn't made. Oh, I made that up. No, he didn't make that up. That's true. These people in this gang been stalking me since the 80s, based on what that email said. Kansas City Chiefs. That wasn't made up. That guy's a Kansas City Chief fan. He was running down the Cowboys. It was clear as could be. This guy, whoever he was, is a Kansas City Chiefs fan. And I don't think he made it up about faking x-rays either. Okay. So on May 26, 2017, the phone rings, and this guy tells me that he is the real Keith Turman. Okay. But he wasn't the person that had been emailing me, as he was in jail at the time. He believed that his partner stole his password. Okay. I secretly recorded that phone call, and it's in a video now called Dr. Stalker. I'm going to leave a link, and I have all the emails and in a photo album on Facebook that just shows all the documentation backing this up. Keith told me that he was doing underground research on the area around the North Midland Walmart store for mineral rights, even though he had been told not to. And he says, and I found something too. Okay, that's real interesting right there. Okay, this was one of the 5 Walmart stores that had been mysteriously shut down in the around 2015, around the same time as Jade Helm was going on. If you remember all the conspiracy theories and rumors, there were rumors that that these stores had tunnels under them. Okay, but I don't have no proof in any tunnels being at that Walmart here. But we can be sure that tunnels are here, and I'm only a half block away, the question's been asked if there's a tunnel that goes from here over to there. I don't know, but we can be absolutely sure tunnels are here. Multiple people are documented. Proof shows I wasn't shot with my gun. Somebody under my home shot me. Okay. And one of the people that was documented ran for sheriff. If you can't get more legitimate than that, it's an absolute fact. You can bet tunnels underground facilities are here. Okay. Okay, Keith said that his friend at work pulled a gun on him, and he was framed by April Chandler. Now, remember, I have this phone call recorded. You can listen to it. And another police officer named Williams, okay, that was with April Chandler. He said that he hired a PI who had found out that April Chandler, was getting large sums of money at a time, something like $50,000. Okay, it was suspected that she was taking bribes. And of course I told him, yeah, she's a dirty cop. April Chandler is a main player in the capital murder attempt on my life, as I've proven that she falsified police reports, tampered with evidence. I've long suspected that she is working for this crime ring, believed to have been involved in multiple murders, as well as homes rigged all over for burglary, theft, and murder, including mine and many others in Midland, Odessa, Texas, and other states. So I'm telling him about this young girl who was murdered at the 2010 oil show party, right? I talk about it all the time. My friend told me that about that young girl being murdered. Remains of a young girl were found in 2013. And Keith blurts out, Haley Dunn. And I said, no, but that's another story because, there's a connected story with Haley Dunn. But, he interrupted me and said, Haley Dunn. And I said, no, no. And then all of a sudden, click, click, he never said another word, and he hung up like he said too much. Okay. I would later think about that, and I'm because I've suspected Haley Dunn was at them 2010 oil show parties. And the reason that I suspected that was 2 months before she went missing. I found out from multiple people that her mom was a stripper in the area. So it makes sense that all the strippers were ordered to work them oil show parties. Just like my friend at work, just like the little girl they murdered who wouldn't prostitute. They were rounding everybody up for this international oil show, big deal. And so it makes sense that Billy Dunn, the mom, was at the oil shows, that's what I'm guessing. And then another person told me Billy was taking Haley to the strip clubs with her. 13-year-old little girl, Haley, okay? I've got a print screen of that. Well, if she's taking her to the strip clubs, then it makes sense that she took her to the oil show parties. And then I have another print screen where another guy, Mikhail Morales, tells me that the dad was pimping out the daughter to his oil field friends. So I even wondered if Clint was also, that's the dad, was also at these same oil show parties. And that might explain why Clint and his PI have been going around trying to spread misinformation and discredit a dozen witnesses saying Haley was born in Odessa. I finally got convinced they ain't trying to find out where Haley, what happened to Haley. They're not, And I mean, that's real obvious. There's too many people documented over there. Anyways, I'm thinking, I wonder if Keith was at that oil show party because it makes sense. Landman were there. I suspected other Landman being there. And he knew Haley was there. And when he blurted that out and then he thought about it and says, I thought I said too much. And that's when he hung up. I've never talked to him again. I've long suspected oilfield landmen were major players in the underground oil show parties and even suspected that Matt Hyman had died in my hallway 2 weeks before the murder attempt. Matt Hyman was a landman attorney, right? His two friends, they were both landmen. That was Hillman and Mertz, threatened me, okay? They were desperate to silence me from asking questions about what happened 2 weeks. And, I've got videos on that. It's even wondering if that was a motive for murder because their friend grabbed that door handle that had electricity on it and he died in my hallway. Okay. And so there were some more landmen. So that's why I'm thinking, well, Keith Turman's a landman. What if Keith Turman was at the underground oil show parties? And that's when the other little girl died, but it wasn't Haley Dunn. Okay. And so, maybe law enforcement wants to ask Keith some questions and trace them emails. Probably what I'll do is I take the same emails and then I'm going to forward them to Criner and the Rangers so they can go back again and try to trace that. It should have been done back in 2017 when the emails were going back and forth, and hopefully too many people haven't been murdered because of this obstruction of justice that's going on. This should have been stopped a long time ago, many murders ago, but this public corruption is just out of control. Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take clips of that Dr. Stucker video of the things I was talking about the Walmart and then also some of the emails, just a little bit, because I ain't going to go over the whole story. Y'all can watch Dr. Stalker, though, and you can look at that photo album on Facebook if you want the rest of the story. It is amazing. this phone call come in private caller, so I can't verify it was him. But it sounded like on the phone, and you're going to hear that, at 1:42 a.m. It woke me up on 5:26. Just happened. This is new stuff. But you know, things he said, like he went to school with Chris Mertz, and Chris Mertz is a Landman that threatened me, and so that's like verifiable information that sounded like it was the real Keith. So this is an interesting phone call I want you to hear. And he woke me up and I said, hold on, I went and got my phone.
Yeah, so I noticed on your Facebook you put my picture up and said that I was emailing you.
Well, I'm not sure I have your picture because I don't even know what you look like. A person with... Okay. A person with the name Keith Turman, spelled Turman, Landman, at something I don't even remember because I'm not at my computer. It was emailing me, and that was actually the same person. I don't actually think that was Keith. That I don't even know who I'm talking to right now, but I don't think that was the real Keith Turman. Okay, I think that was somebody else that stole that email address, because that same guy contacted me on about 4 or 5 different other names, and then he admitted that he was the same person. I nicknamed him the Stalker. Okay.
Okay.
And actually, I've nicknamed him Dr. Stalker because of some of the things that he said in these different emails. And so the first emails come in as Keith Turman, Landman at GMX something whatever. And then I posted them on my Facebook, or actually a friend of mine posted them on my Facebook because I got blocked. And then so I started getting emails from a Mark Jones, and then from a Dan Connor, and then a George Washington, and it seemed like there was another one too. But each one of these I was sending to the chief of police, to the sheriff, and to the Texas Rangers, because I have a feeling this guy that's emailing me is connected to the crimes against me, which of course include a capital attempted murder.
Wow.
And at the time, though, when I was getting these emails by Keith Turman, or by that name, he actually emailed me a print screen showing where Keith Turman was arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon or whatever. But either way, it told me that he was in jail. The real Keith Turman was in jail. And the other thing about it is, this stalker, is what I call him, mentioned a woman's name and having the password to an email account. And so basically, I'm having to piece it together because I'm on this side and this guy's, playing these games, basically. And my best guess is he stole that ID. That was a real email account, and he had access to the password. And so he was emailing me under that name, and until my friend posted what was wrote on the internet. Okay, and then that's when he come up with a plan to start making up all kinds of stories. Okay. And so there's a lot of different clues. That's how I put it. A lot of different clues that come out of it, and some of them I post a lot. And one of them is that he said he went to medical school in the 70s and learned how to fake x-rays. Now that's a very important thing to me, because I have proof that my x-rays were falsified when I was in the hospital.
Your Facebook, that makes sense.
Right, yeah, and this guy wrote me and told me, that same guy that was this. Now, the reason I know it was the same guy that was using Keith Turman and Mark Jones and all them other is because he told me in an email it was. Okay? And so I have a whole list of these emails. He also told me that he just happened to mention that he was a big Kansas City Chiefs fan. Okay? And he made some comment about, I'm a Dallas fan or whatever. But the reason I picked up on this comment is because after I was shot from under a cabinet. This is an incredible story. but I found a Kansas City Chiefs cap under that cabinet, and I knew it had to have been left after I was shot, because I pulled that cabinet out I was shot from, and there was concrete there, and I think that concrete was poured in the 3 days in between when I was shot and the secret police were caught in my home, and then the only known entry by police, the official entry, 3 days later. And so that explained why they waited 3 days, before the official entry, is because it's pouring concrete. And the evidence shows me I was shot 2 weeks before I was shot. I had called the DEA and reported the suspected tunnel. And I can prove that, And I know for a fact I shot under that cabinet, and I found that Kansas City Chiefs cap under that cabinet. And so I took that as a big clue, that this guy.
That's them trying to be a smart ass.
Huh?
I feel like that's them trying to be like a smart ass or act like they got away with something.
Well, so far they have got away with it, but some very serious crimes have gone on here, and just what.
Can I see why I'm calling you real quick?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So, I was arrested for aggravated assault. You were correct, but I was framed. I was arrested by a police officer named April Chandler.
Okay, I'm very familiar with her, right?
I've never met her before, but I was doing land work with a coworker. We got more or less an argument, and he told my identity and pretty much tried to falsify documents in my name. And so when I confronted him, he pulled a gun on me, so I left. And the next thing I know, I'm being arrested by April Chandler and Detective Williams.
Williams, is that it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that.
Well, he's from Hobbs.
Really?
Because I've been to your Facebook. I don't want to freak you out or anything, but
No, many people. I've had 2 million views on videos. I just let you talk about April Chandler. My story about her, right?
right. And so, while I was in jail, the county jail, I had a friend tell me that, people were emailing you with my name, Keith Turman.
Right.
And that's impossible if I'm in county jail.
They had your password.
Right. So now, I've got to figure out some way to fight this.
Well, see, and the thing is law enforcement can track that, and that's why I was forwarding them emails to the chief of police, to the sheriff, to the Texas Rangers, because I wanted them to trace this guy, because
Like they're in on it, though.
Huh?
I feel like they're in on it.
Well, I'm the crime victim, I'm the one shot and left for dead in my home, living under a death threat.
Yeah.
And and as far as April Chandler goes, I have caught her lying on police reports. She was under the secret police in my home. Police reports show she's not even here, right?
Well, I hired a private PI, and he did a background check on her, and he found paperwork on her that shows that she's receiving large amounts of money.
That makes lots of sense, because I felt like she's on the tape.
But a local cop doesn't get some of the payment of like $50,000 at a time.
Right. Well, there's something big going down here with the, I've always suspected human trafficking. I've had multiple people tell me there's an underground facility near this home. I believe it's connected to the death of the last homeowner, Mike Lawhon. He died 2 weeks before I moved into this home. And then, like I said, I have absolute proof, without a doubt, April Chandler lied on the police reports.
I think there's one under the North Walmart, too. And that's where I was doing Landman work there. And the minute I started trying to lease that out for drilling, for royalties, that's when all this stuff happened to me. I was told to stay away from it, and I didn't.
Interesting. See, I have several Landman, I don't know if you know this, that are on my suspect list, okay?
Right.
And I don't know if you're familiar with that, but
Tell me some names, and I'll tell you if I know them.
Okay, well, let me tell you, 2 weeks before I was shot, okay, I was shot on January 28, 2012, okay? On January,
I think you're very strong for what you've been through and what you're doing right now.
Well, I give God all the praise and glory. He's my strength. But 2 weeks.
Yes, amen.
2 weeks before I was shot, which is January 14th, and to keep this in perspective, my first call for somebody breaking my house was 14 months before, I was shot. And so these crimes had gone on for 14 months, but 2 weeks before I shot, I noticed somebody was trying to come into my bedroom, and I was concerned because I had actually just tear gassed my attic, okay, and I got them good. I heard them coughing and everything. And then so I was worried about retribution, and then I noticed somebody's trying to come in my bedroom door inside my home, and I locked the door, bolted it shut, and I put electricity on the door. Now I used to be an electrician, okay, and I'm here in this room, and what I was worried about was they were going to kick the door in and kill me, because I believe that's what happened to the last homeowner, okay, because I found the door kicked in or whatever. That's another story, but. Either way, I stripped the hot wire and I wrapped it around the door handle on the door to build a safe room to protect myself, And this isn't a what if could be. There was people in my house trying to come inside my home, trying to come in my bedroom, okay? And so they didn't get in, of course. They wasn't quiet that night or whatever. And 2 weeks later, my phone lines are cut and I'm shocked, okay? And it's obviously premeditated, and then the secret police get caught on camera and all that. Well,
I forgot to think that was kind of against a survivor like you, though, sir.
Well, like I said, God gets all the praise. Well, it's a miracle. These are smart people who had it planned out, and it's a miracle I'm alive. But but then I got to thinking after I'm out of the hospital about that night on January 14th. So I went searching the obituaries. And I found where this Landman attorney died on the same day, on January 14th, and his name was Matt Hyman, okay?
You know, that's obituary?
In the Midland obituaries.
Okay.
Okay, and so his name is Matt Hyman, well known here because he was a landman turned attorney. He worked for Choate or whatever,
I knew him.
Okay, you knew him. And so, he was 33 years old, and he died, and that's all I knew is he died on the same day.
We suspected he was doing fraudulent stuff as well.
Okay, let me finish this story. So I posted on my Facebook where he was, I asked the question if he died in my house. Okay, well, his former sister-in-law, was my nurse. Okay, and she's on my Facebook. And so she's like, oh, no, it wasn't him, etc., or whatever. Well, I started asking her questions trying to eliminate him, because, like, if he died in a car wreck, I knew it wasn't him, or whatever, right? And so I'm like, how did he die? And she says, oh, he had a heart failure, nobody knew about it. Well, that's what electricity will do to you, right? It causes heart failure.
Heck, yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm thinking, well, what time did he die? Because if he died that morning, it wasn't him, And then so I asked her what time he died. Oh, he died that evening. He was sitting at home with his wife, just him and his wife, and he died. And that was the exact same time it happened. And so,
Daytime or nighttime?
at nighttime, on the evening of January 14th. And so, all it did was further, confirm what I suspected. And so I posted this whole story out there on Facebook, and then two of his friends threatened me. And both of them are Landman, okay?
Well, I have access to seismic charts and stuff, and I looked at that North Walmart, and there is what it looks to be like a facility on the back side of towards the King Quick side. And it looks like it goes back towards those apartments, but that field right there behind the King Quick, that's where it ends.
Okay.
And so when I was doing all this, I questioned it, and then all of a sudden I started having trouble.
Interesting.
But if there's a facility there and there's one Home Depot, they could be connected.
And, well, you remember when they shut down the Walmart, right?
Yes, sir. That's whenever I really started having problems.
Yeah, they shut down 5 Walmarts across the nation. That was one. Well, I had reported a tunnel, and I live a half mile away here behind the Home Depot,
Well, I approached Mayor Morales about this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was receiving strange phone calls and not death threats, but just telling me that I needed to back off.
Okay.
And so when I questioned that, because I wouldn't get anywhere in the city, I just had all types of hell to pay.
Oh, let me finish that story. The two of his friends threatened me. Matt Hyman's friends. One of them, both of them are Landman. One of them is Brian Hillman.
I know Mr. Hillman.
Okay.
You know his brother John.
Yeah, and he married the widow. Okay, he married Matt Hyman's widow or whatever. And
I thought David had been screwing around before.
and he was very, very rude, you know, and then threatened to sue me, etc. And then his buddy or another one was named Chris Mertz, and Chris worked for my company DCP.
I went to high school with Chris Mertz.
See, and he worked for DCP Midstream. And see, Chris called me crazy, and when you call me crazy, that's an automatic sign that you're involved, because I got pictures of a secret police game, right?
The same Chris Mertz that went to Lehigh?
And the golfer, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that tried to go out on the pro circuit and all that. Yeah, because he went to work for DCP Midstream, and he was on the same floor. And basically, he threatened to whoop me. And I got print screens of all this, okay?
You know his parents hit a jackpot in Vegas one time on the slot machine? And then they were involved with drug stuff out there. So was Chris.
Is that right?
Have you ever heard the story about how they won the jackpot?
No, I don't know nothing about him, really.
Well, he can be very dangerous. His dad was served overseas, and his brother's a doctor. So I'm wondering if that's connected.
Wow, okay. You know, you probably read it, and it's a big deal. That ex told me, and she was a nurse, and she told me with 100% sincerity a couple weeks before I was shot, she said, the secret is a group of doctors are killing people for profit. What she didn't tell me was her brother-in-law was a doctor, and he was my doctor at the hospital the night I was shot.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm up at the courthouse, and I'm pulling property records looking for the past owners of my home, because I figure somebody used to live in my home, knows something about it being rigged with underground access, right? And an underground facility and all that.
Do you think they're running sex slaves and drugs?
Well, and I think. Well, I mean, I don't know that, but I think sex trafficking, human trafficking, had a lot to do with it in the beginning, and now maybe they shut it down because of all the publicity. But it's possible drugs were involved. But anyways, I'm at the courthouse, and I'm looking up the past owners of my home, and I find where a company named Abbott Development had the land, and they sold it to Tabor Construction, which is no longer in business. And then so I noticed Tabor Construction had a address on Mark Lane, 3217 Mark Lane. And so just
Do
for
you think Sheriff Criner's involved in this?
most likely, yes. Yeah, I think every elected official in town is.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I just happened to look up the deed history for that home over on 32-7 Mark Lane that Tabor Construction, the builder of my home, owned.
Red brick house?
And
Is that the red brick house?
I think it's on the corner there, Wadley and Mark Lane.
Yes, sir.
And but when my mouth fell open, the ER doctor used to own that same property. That was the brother-in-law of the ex-wife.
Indian doctor?
Huh?
Is he an Indian doctor?
No.
Okay, I thought maybe Caucasian sometime.
Yeah, no. Well, and I don't really know, to tell you the truth. I've never. Well, maybe he is. I don't know. Okay, let me take that back. Maybe he is. You know.
You know, whenever they arrested me, I would not sign paperwork to the April Chandler trying to get me to sign. They held me in a restraint chair for a week straight with no food, just water.
Wow.
Signed paperwork.
Dirty.
So what I've done is I've contacted state officials. I've been in Austin the last 2 weeks with a lawyer. I've spent all my money, mortgaged my house, and I'm going to fight this.
Okay.
Because I'm tired of these people like you and myself being screwed over.
Well, and let me tell you what. I've got the evidence on April Chandler. She should not have been a cop. She was caught lying. She was caught sneaking in my home. She was caught lying on the police report. And she's the last person to have now stolen evidence in this capital murder attempt. April Chandler is probably the one. April and or Matt Davis stole evidence to cover up the murder attempt of my life. And I have the paperwork showing that.
Well, that's my livelihood is hers.
Yeah, and so by the time she arrested you, she shouldn't have never been ever been, and just recently I hired a private investigator, and within the last week or two, I got the names of all 11 police. Okay, and you've probably seen that if you've been looking at my Facebook last few days. But amazingly, the first one to arrive at my house after I called out was Deputy Sheriff Martin County Sheriff John Woodward.
And he was involved with Painter back in the day with drugs, wasn't he?
I don't know. I don't know all that. I'm not from here. I'm from Hobbs, And, I transferred over here with DC Midstream. I was a 25-year employee, and I bought this home, And so then I'm here a couple of years, and then Mike Lawhon dies 2 weeks before I buy the home. And then a couple of years later, I figure out somebody's breaking my home. And that's really kind of where it started. And then, but now I'm looking back. This was done a long time ago. And see, here's the other thing. The other thing about this is 2010, I was dating a woman that I worked in the same building as me in Claydesta. And she told me about this young girl being murdered at an old show party. Okay?
Haley Dunn.
Huh? No, Haley Dunn's a whole different story, okay? And I'll tell you the Haley Dunn in a minute, but she said a girl was murdered at the all show party for refusing to prostitute. And I was dating this woman at the time. When she'd get off work, we'd come to my house, and she would leave here and then go to this, wherever the party was, and it was 5 minutes away. I have reason to believe it's in the underground facility, I was told, that is near my home. I was told it's a half block from my home. One person said it was 4 3-bedroom homes that each costing over $1 million, 25 foot deep. Okay, I've got that recorded on a phone call. But multiple people have told me underground facility. Anyway, that's where I believe this young girl was murdered at for refusing to prostitute. So there's my other connection with Landman. Okay?
Guess everybody did that.
Huh? And there's one more Landman. Let me throw his name out there. Okay, I met him at a park right here in my neighborhood. And then he just acted.
Well, I'm going to shut it out right there, and really amazing that he never called back, but it sounded like the real Keith Turman to me, and I'm sure he wants to see this. It was so incredible that I thought, I wonder if he's still alive, I know he wants to see the information I just posted. Y'all share this story. This is really important. Talk to you later.